Hi guys, it's Vicky here from Pretty Talent and the Waterwell Ministries, and I am back with yet another Temu haul. Now, this is not much of a haul, but I am very excited about showing you this in any case. So let me open this parcel, this package, and it is a single order. With what is considered a single item. Let me just see how this opens. Okay, there we go. But it is 15 items inside the single package. Oh, I should stop bumping the camera as she bumps the camera. Okay, there you go. They are ink pads. And there's a paper here. Easy to clean. The colored ink pads are water soluble, so they can be washed with soap and water with the wet towel easily, and each ink pad can be stacked without taking up space. Therefore, they are convenient for storage. Signal word danger. Hazard statements: causes skin irritation, may cause an allergic skin reaction, causes serious eye damage, suspected of causing cancer, very toxic to aquatic life with long-lasting effects. Precautionary statement: if medical advice is needed, have product container or label at hand, keep out of reach of children, read carefully and follow all instructions. Right, that's scary. That's very scary. I have bought this ink before. And since I don't intend to use it on my skin or to consume it, or to put it in a fish tank, or to drop it in a river, or use any of the above, I suspect I'll be safe. Okay, so here are the ink pads. Now, when you order this off Temu, they tell you you can get 15 random colors, and I am very excited about the selection that they've got. There is 24 colors in the color range. I don't honestly think you need 24 colors. The comparative inks on the market, these are oxide inks, O2, oxide inks, okay? I'm not going to go with competition names and whatever it is, who the competitors are. Comparative inks on the market are extremely expensive. These, I suppose, are not exactly cheap, but they are much cheaper. I'm not going to talk prices. If you want to, you can follow the links. I'll put a link on the post, and you can follow the link to the inks. You can buy the full set for a relatively cheap price. I didn't think it was necessary to buy the full set. I decided I'm okay with taking a chance and having the colors selected for me. And I'm excited about what I have received. I'm looking at this now for the first time, obviously, since I've just opened the parcel. So this is the only one that I have, Rotting Wood. This is the one that I have in my possession already. And I do not mind. Actually, I would have preferred if they had put another one of these in. Mine is by no means empty or dry, but this is the color that I use to ink everything with when I do junk journaling, sometimes card making, Bible journaling. I like to stamp with Rotting Wood. It's not as harsh as a black stamp. So this is one that I use all the time. It's a dark brown, not heavy dark, not very, very dark, but it is a dark brown and a color that I like. So Rotting Wood, maybe I should, no, well, we'll see now. Let me open them. Let me not be like that. I thought I'd leave this one closed since I already have one, but that's silly. These don't dry out simply because you open them. Okay, so that's Rotting Wood. Then I have Pink Memories, and I'm just quickly trying to open these for you so that I can give you an indication of the colors. This is lavender, I can open them, but that's not going to show you anything, because the color can't be judged on the ink pad. I'll show you. Okay, that's lavender. Here's another thing that you should take note of. This is not sponge. This is a proper ink pad. A sponge ink pad is great. It's a cheap, yeah, it's a cheaper ink that they put on a sponge ink pad. And they're good, and they have their place, and I'm not knocking those. I have a lot of those, and I use them all over. Generally, they're not as long lasting. They don't tend to be oxide inks. Yeah, I'm not talking about those now. So, okay, so these are rather fantastic. You can see I can't wait to test the colors. I'm literally putting my fingers in there and testing the colors on my fingers. That's a ridiculous thing to do, especially after having read that whole warning thing. Okay, this one is blushing and browfinch. That says nothing to me, but it's a gorgeous color. Rotten pumpkin pie. It's not very poetic. Rotten pumpkin pie. Okay. I have never had rotten pumpkin pie, so I can't tell you if that's the color of rotten pumpkin pie. But there you have it. Then I have this one. I'm sure there must have been a better name for that. Okay, I'm sorry, but this is, yeah, it's amusing. This is carved jade. Carved jade. Good grief. Why carved? Jade is, okay. Never mind. I do sometimes wonder. Golden grain. Oh yes, well maybe because when jade is in its natural form, it is not that color. I'm just thinking. I don't know enough about rocks and things to be able to say that that might be the best answer. Okay, this is golden grain. Oh, it's a lovely color. I'm not going to stick my fingers in this any longer. It was a stupid thing to do to start with. Okay, this is buck rose. Buck rose. I think rather pinker than the lid would suggest, but one would have to test it. This one is tiger orchid. Orchid. This is orchid. I'm reading it wrong. I'm just realizing it's not an orchid. That's something completely different from an orchid, which is a flower. Now, I don't know what the tiger orchid looks like, so I'm going to assume that is the color. Oh goodness, there's loads of paper, plastic lying around. But again, I am very impressed with the packaging. I don't know if you've noticed, but these things came properly packaged, very well padded, no damage. This one is autumn leaves. How does that compare with this one? Now you can see these are two completely different colors. This one was the rotting wood, and this one is autumn leaves. And there I go, bumping the camera again. My camera skills are terrible. West Cowboy. Well, I don't know. It would seem the West Cowboys are purple. But in any case. Cypress green. Old Cowboy. Okay. And a West Cowboy and an Old Cowboy. Well, they're not the same color. Not even slightly. This one is a dark blue by the looks of it. And the other one is a palish purple. And then I've got Blue Coast. And the last one is persimmon sauce. Persimmon. I have no idea how you pronounce that correctly. Persimmon, I suppose. I don't know. But there you go. Never in my life had persimmon sauce, so I wouldn't know if that's the color of it. Okay, so I'm going to quickly try and sort these according to color. So those are the blues, those are the jades, a yellow and an orange I'll put together. I'll put these two brownish ones together, the two purplish ones together, the two greens together, and then I'm left with these rather odd ones. Okay, now I have brought paper over in anticipation of this because I want to show you what all of this looks like when I test it on paper. I'm just sort of suddenly wondering, am I still recording? Because you know my very bad luck with this. So I have some of my blending brushes here, and this is the paper that I tested the glass pens on the other day for another video. So I'm just going to continue working on this one. So here's my red. Now I'm not sure this is red, but I will use this. That's good. Now I don't know if you know this, but it's actually better to first start off and then come on, and then you don't have those harsh lines. So you'll sort of start off the paper and then come back on. And when I do that, I certainly get a better result on my paper. But that shows us the color better. So I'm going to keep doing it the wrong way because I want you to see the colors. Let me go to a pinkish brush now with this one. So that was Buck Rose. This is Pink Memories. I'm going to wet them just now, but I'm going to first just do a dry test on them. And then I have Rotten Pumpkin Pie, which I'm not sure that my pink blender is the right one for this. So let me go with the more neutral. Yeah, this one is dry, so I can. Okay. This the pink might have been fine. This is not a bad color for a sort of a flesh tint, a Caucasian flesh tint, I should say, because not all flesh. There is no such thing as flesh tint. I mean, if you can, well, that actually, I wanted to say it's not like me, but it's actually not a bad one for my own skin color. But yeah, of course, people have different skin colors. There is no such thing as skin color. But in any case, okay, that's a topic for another day. I tend to get very irritated when people insist on calling things skin color when what on earth is the color of skin? Right, so we're going to go with Tiger Orchid now. Oh, this is a nice color. And then I'm going to go with the other green, Cypress Green. Two completely different colors. But you know, I want to actually come in, and they're not in that order. Yeah, I want to test these two now, next to those greens. So let me get another blending brush. This one is Carved Jade, the darkest shade of the two. Yeah, look how nicely these two go. Not the same color, but a very nice. These two are very similar. Let's get the brush clean. They're actually quite loaded, eh? They're close, but they're not the same thing. Okay, so the second one was Blushing and Brofinch. So I like, this is a bluish green, and that's why I wanted to test those with the bluish green. These would make for very nice monochromatic blends. Okay, so where's the purple blender? Let's take the purple blender. Let's start with the West Cowboy. And there you go. Checking quickly that I'm still on camera. I tend to go off camera. And then this one is Lavender. Yeah, one is definitely much softer than the other. One a pinker shade and one a bluer shade. So two very nice purples to have. Then I have the browns. Now I'm already familiar with the Rotting Wood. This one is Autumn Leaves. Let me do them here. Okay, that's nice. And this one then, the Rotting Wood. And you can see two completely different colors. Rotting Wood has a bit of a gray to it. Whereas this one seems more to the vibrant yellowish orangey shades in it. Okay, so speaking of yellowish orangey shades, I'm going to go for the Golden Grain. And this one is persimmon sauce. I still don't know where to accentuate that word. My goodness. That lack of light that I'm suddenly becoming aware of. Okay. Then I have Blue Coast. Sure. Clean this one here. And this is Old Cowboy. Okay, so guys, this was the completely wrong way of putting ink on paper. These dark blotches, that's what you're going to get if you do it this way. So a better way to do this would be, and I'm going to tear the page out. A better way to do this would be to take your color, and just take this last one I had, and again, and you're going to come onto your page. Now I'm still doing, okay, now I'm onto your page and blend like this. Now you can still see those lines. That's not ideal. You can pick up that ink there. If you're working on a glass mat, certainly. Plastic, you'll be able to pick it up and you can bring it into the mat. But that's a way better way of inking than that. You can see the mistake there. But okay, I wanted to show the color, but this is how you actually go about ink blending. And when I now come in with another color, let me just take one of the greens, because it's here at the top. Okay, when I come in with a green like this, cypress green, I would again go to the mat on the side, and once I'm ready, I come into my page. And you can see then I get a much better blend. So that's how you will do your sort of ink blending techniques. This is the proper way of doing it. Okay, now what we want to see is that aspect that they talked about here in this scary note. The inks are water soluble. because oxide inks are supposed to be water soluble. O2 is oxygen, right? This is from Elena Cuttle on Temu. And I've told you before, I really like the Elena Cuttle store on Temu. You can follow stores on Temu. What am I looking for? Oh, my water bottle. My water bottle, yeah. Okay, so when I now wet this, I can effectively, or should effectively, be able to do this. Oh my word. Pick up the color with my paper. This is drawing paper. It's not meant for this kind of thing, but we'll do it anyways. Okay, so let me bring in this orangey one, persimmon sauce. And let me put it down there. And I'm putting quite a bit down because the others I've already lifted really. Let me put down a color that will go with this. I really shouldn't have put them all on top of each other. I'm looking for the reddish one. Those are the two blues. Those are the two purples. Those are those two. Here are my two greens. Where's that? Oh, then right at the bottom of the second pile, of course. So I'm putting down quite a bit of this as well. And what other color shall I put down? Let me come in with this one. Now, when you see these colors here next to each other, you can see that it should be really easy to create some lovely blends out of this. Combinations, color combinations. So again, I'm going to wet this rather well so it becomes quite runny. Way wetter than this paper is supposed to be able to handle, but I am going to do this. I'm going to put it down there. And you will immediately see the paper is way too wet. This should have been a watercolor paper or much sturdier paper. But I had this at hand. And the water is saturating the paper. It's running right through the paper. Still. Love that. Now the acrylic ink is coming through on this side. I love this. I love this. I really think one could work with this. Now, I am going to do this. Let me do this here on the dry end. Let me bring in one of my, I want this Tiger Orchid. Do I? Yeah, it's the bluer one. And I've got the blues going here. Okay. So there it is. I keep closing them because I don't want dried out ink bad. Now this time I didn't wet it too much, overly much. I am going to come in with a blend here on the side, and I should do it more proper, but okay. And now you can see and compare for yourself what difference it creates when I do a dry blend versus a wet blend. And the wet blend certainly gives me a much smoother blend than that did. And I think I get to go, I stretch my ink much further than I've been able to do on a dry ink. on a dry blend. My ink pad or the blending tool, the brush, doesn't feel overly wet or clammy or anything. I'm sure it is, but it doesn't feel overly wet. And that's rather important as well, because when I want to put them away, I don't want these dripping wet brushes that I put away. I think that is what I want to show you on this. These are lovely inks. Lovely, lovely inks. Do I think the oxide inks are better? Yes, I do. However, the price on those, and again, availability. Here in South Africa, honestly, things are harder to come by than in other countries. This one, I think, I'm going to put it sort of there. Maybe like this. I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one. Yeah, they're harder to come by. It's not as if you can't find it. And especially here where I stay in Johannesburg, in the Johannesburg area, it's easier to find things and to find shops and specialty shops and whatever it is. But the minute you start going to the rural areas of South Africa, just anywhere off the cities, out of the main city areas, finding craft supplies becomes a challenge. And if you have the option of ordering these, they are not a bad comparison. They really do compare well. Price-wise, they are brilliant. And, well, you've seen the tests for yourself. You can decide for yourself what you want to do. But I would certainly not hesitate to recommend these to artists, aspiring artists, card makers, junk journalists, etc., etc. I'm going to do a video. I was actually set up for that video when this parcel unexpectedly arrived. I don't think it was due just yet. But I want to show you another way while I've got the stuff here for the next video. Well, this might actually be the video before, because actually I need to do this one first. So you might have seen me do this now in another video, but I'm going to show you while I have the stuff out here. Another way that you can use your ink pads. And now I have to decide what is going to be a good color for me to use here. I'm going to go with the dark blue one. This one, Old Cowboy. Come here, Old Cowboy. Now, this is an embossing folder. And this is the pattern that will be embossed. And when you look at this side has raised edges and this side has embedded edges, so it's embossed and debossed. It's heels and grooves, and they fit in each other. Easier terminology, I suppose. And what I can now do is I can decide to, which side do I want to do? I'm going to do this side. I'm going to ink this embossing folder. And I'm inking it rather well. Rather too well, I think. But anyways, well, not here. I missed this spot. Okay, and then I'm going to put, I've got this is a small one. I've got some pre-prepared, these are toilet rolls that I have cut open, and then I ironed them flat. I'm wondering if I should do this on white paper to maybe show you the effect better. I'll do both, but let me first do it on white paper. And the only white paper I've got here is the white paper that I've just used, because I hadn't actually thought I'd do this, but okay. here we go. Okay, this is not going to be a nice cut now, but let me just cut a piece of paper. To more or less fit in there. And I'm going to just position it on there. Then I'm going to do this. Oh goodness. Let me grab my machine. When I do embossing, I doubt I need the shims. So let me do that. See if this is correct. And I'm going to do what I've done with the die cutting. The machine plates just go through the machine as per normal. Oi, get your sandwich straightened out. Okay, no, it's too thick. I really hadn't planned on doing this. Can I try it with just the shims? Let's see if this is going to be too thin now. I wonder if it has enough. I don't think it's got enough resistance. My apologies, I keep bumping the camera. I'm going to just get a thinner plate because this is not my embossing plate. Right, my apologies for leaving you hanging. There's an embossing plate now. I'm going to put it through again. Yes, that's better resistance, but it's not going. Aye. Still not going. Then the bottom plate is the wrong one. Swap that out. Put another plate in. It's because I have so many machines, and then I'm working with the wrong plates and the wrong machines, and this is no resistance. Too thin, too thin, too thin. Come back. Add the shims. Did it emboss? It did. Okay, so I'm being pedantic over nothing again. This is what you're going to get. So instead of just having an embossed image, you actually have the color transferred to the image. You can even, and I normally do, so let me do that with the second one, the second take. You can even spray it. I'm going to do that. That's rather lovely, isn't it? I'll bring that back just now. So I'm going to do the same type of thing. I'm going to re-ink it quickly. This time round, I am going to just bring my spray bottle in and just gently spray it with water. I am again going to, here's my, here we go. I want to bring one of these in. Why are they so small? We get larger and smaller of these. Ugh, okay, whatever. Let me go with this one. Why not? I'm going to put this one in there. This is now the cut open toilet roll that's been ironed flat. And I actually, because this is a rather thick cardboard, I am going to just moisten the cardboard as well so that it doesn't crack when I put it through the machine. Okay, so there we go. The sandwich is packed. The machine is ready. The operator is struggling. There we go. Okay. Nice and smooth. Why not bring it back? We can. I normally do just because, but honestly, and especially with this machine, it is seldom necessary to do a reverse action. Okay, so there we go. Take those out of the way. And you can see, because this is not white, your colors are not going to be quite as evident as on the other one. But there you go. This I would glue down, because the toilet paper rolls, they tend to not be glued well. So you will often find that you need to glue them down more properly. But that is how the ink works, and it works brilliantly, and it is rather fantastic. What do I do with these? You would have seen in the previous video. If you've missed the previous video, here's what I'm making. I am making, can you see the embossed? I've used 2 colors here. So what I do afterwards is I go with another color, and this will be a glittery, oh my god, a powder that I just wipe over the surface. But yes, then I just fold them, and that's a 3-point stitch that I put, and I make these little booklets, these little notebooks, and they go into journals, and just a little bit of decoration on them. You don't have to ink them. This one is not inked, it's just embossed. Yes, this is another one that I've inked and inked again. And there they are. That's the little stitching. You can do this with if you don't want to stitch, you can do it with a stapler, whatever you want to bind them with. But in essence, this is literally just a toilet roll. I need to glue that one down, fold it over, and that's what I make these little booklets from. Obviously, I cut it straight, and I round the edges, and whatever it is. But that's as simple as that is. Well, I probably have already. It's there. For me, it's now in the future, because this was the video I was going to come and sit down and do, and then the parcel arrived, and I quickly did another video, but that's actually the video that I want to post first. So for me, the times are now swapped around. That's in the future. You would have seen it in the past. Whatever, I'm confusing myself for no good reason. Let me bring these back so that you can see them. This I can just wipe with a wet cloth. And even if it dries, I can reactivate the ink and dry it with a wet cloth again. That's what the ink looks like in use, right? Well, in an embossing machine. And here are the inks. Lovely, lovely, lovely colors. Lovely inks. And one final look at it. I recommend them, highly recommend them. They're really good. What would I love to see? I would love to see refill bottles for these. That would be nice. But as is, a really good choice, really good affordable choice. And as I've talked about availability in South Africa, these are available. The specialty shops, they're not always available. So anyways, have a blessed day, and may your dreams come true. May your wishes come true. May they align themselves with God's will in your life, and may they be fulfilled. That's my prayer for you in Jesus' name. Bye, guys.